one of the things that we were really being asked to focus on is vibrational alignment. And what does that actually mean? And oftentimes on a personality self level, we can get really frustrated when we think we're lined up for the outcome that we desire, but we usually have one layer of ourselves or multi layers that are still holding on in some way, in ways that we don't even realize. And so spirit is just encouraging that our thought, our word, and our deed have to match our outcome that we desire in order to experience that in the external world. And that we are ready to experience this level of abundance, but it will require not looking back and kind of hanging on to previous roadblocks or creating new stories about old stories. That we're actually being encouraged to leap into this exciting new world of possibilities, but we have to be okay not knowing. It goes back to that feeling our way through the dark. And the lyrics here were, I don't want to lose control. So once again, spirit reminding us that the personality ego self, it fuels itself off of feeling in control of life. And it can very quickly, plummet to its greatest depths when it feels something has gone out of its control. But if we are meeting ourselves in that devotional practice that we talked about, whatever feels good to us that allows us to hear our inner self, or just even be connected to that inner self, we begin creating enough quantum charge that we begin to rise above a lot of those vibrations that would just quickly suck us into self-doubt or, put us into guilt or into shame that would keep us from being in our creator selves. And one of the greatest ways that we are being asked to honor ourselves moving forward, to stay in true health, as Spirit calls it, is to really honor the body as the vessel for the soul. That we have been programmed that the body sort of just kind of moves the mind around wherever it goes, or it moves the personality self around. And unless you are an athlete or someone who is using the body in a very specific way, often the body is kind of the last thing that is getting our attention. And so we're really being encouraged to allow it to have a voice and to start paying attention to it. As simple as maybe we're typing something out and we get that feeling of thirst and we tell the body, even unconsciously, like, oh, I'll get to you as soon as I'm finished this. It's those little missed impulses that actually take us out of the vibration of soul. So if we can get out of the mind, stop for a second, stretch, get the drink of water, go get the fresh air outside, even if it's, so annoying to the personality self to have to break that flow or that stride, it connects us once again to that realm of soul. And we won't go to bed at night feeling like we wasted a day or that we were out of alignment or we missed the mark, because we're constantly reconnecting to that true health. The other thing Spirit brought up here was that root chakra issues are coming up right now to be upwoven. So we talked about 2022 being an instant replay year, where anything that got by us in times before where we just didn't collect that spiritual debris or we weren't able to integrate it for whatever reason. So it's coming back around, and particularly issues around survival, finances, our physical body, physical health, sustenance, safety, and shelter. So big root chakra issues. And yet Spirit encourages that we are being given an opportunity to look at our situations from the past with a more expanded kind of eagle eye perspective. And that our health is inextricably tied to Mother Earth's health. So we've talked a lot about how the powers that were have attempted to really weaponize so many things within our environment. And we may have some signs of that showing within our physical health. So one of the things that we can do is, especially if we're doing a devotional practice where we're connecting with nature in some way, we can use that time, that connection, to merge ourselves with the mother, to merge our physical body with the Mother Earth's body. And through that merge, we actually create that link, as above, so below, heaven meeting earth. And it kind of it's so powerful that it cancels out all of this interference. And so it can be as simple as, petting our dog or our cat, or watering our plants. If you're able to do it, getting barefoot on the earth or putting your hands on a tree. All of these things really help us to connect to the heartbeat of the mother. And it's the fastest way to restore our energy body to what Spirit calls true health. We're also being encouraged to move our body the way that it desires. So many of us may have grown up with like exercise or do this to look a certain way. And Spirit says, no, no, no. Move your body to feel good. Move your body the way that it desires. And if we think about little kids, like they'll be just walking down the street and then all of a sudden they'll do like break out into dance or like start running out of nowhere. They're just doing what their body wants to do. And they're not worried about, who else is considering them in that moment or thinking about it. So we are being encouraged to move our bodies the way that they desire, to receive massage, energy work, acupuncture, any modality which actually shifts the energy body. Because as Spirit said earlier, it is that light body which will allow us to keep the physical body in its greatest health. And if we're not focusing on the energy body, we may kind of find ourselves dipping below that waterline. We're being encouraged to eat with joy and play as a spiritual devotion. That if we can think of the frequency of play, like how much am I playing throughout my day? Am I in the spirit of play with everything that I'm doing? This is the highest frequency, Spirit said, of spiritual devotion right now. And it allows us to be consciously collaborating with our intent in every decision that we are making throughout the day, because we can consciously intend to be in that playful state. Here, Spirit says, thy will be done through me. This is when we find out who is an earth keeper and who is a play actor. So this is when we're going to be able to really feel, like we talked about last week, because those veils are lifting from the powers that were. They can no longer speak their reality into existence any longer. So they will look like play actors. They will look like they have nothing, no weight, nothing, no sustenance. And we will also see who the meek are and the humble are, and the people coming forward to be stewards and guardians of this next phase of the earth. We are actively bringing about well-being and goodness to all we meet, these earth keepers. And through that, our empathic powers are reaching new heights. We talked about the level of sensitivity that's creating. Spirit said there's a bombardment of energy in our auric fields, and we are encouraged to spend time among the trees. And that was in all capital letters. So once again, always being encouraged to go back to that original source connection with Mother Earth and to spend time in nature.